All right. Just to finish this up here, I think I left off on the fact that one of the biggest weaknesses I feel are that it doesn't really correct for all of the different things that can go on while a child is or while somebody's making um, uh, when somebody's doing something. It doesn't really correct for all the things that are really happening. All it does is kind of just assume that whatever's on the paper is all that needs to be graded. So there are a few things that I think are weaknesses to any rubric maker. Um, but alas, it's still a useful tool. Uh, and I think some things that where I could use this is, of course, assessing and giving feedback on projects. Um, it allows you to, again, it allows you to grade easily, but it also, like I said, allows you to give feedback because everything that you're doing and what you're grading is already kind of managed there, and then they can see that. So whenever you grade it, you can circle which tier they got, and then explain why. And it also allows it another, and I think main point again is going along with the strengths, is that it allows you to give the students exactly what they need and what they'll be graded on, and allows you to convey that to them. And then the last thing that I think this could be used for is a review for in the field. If you ever have if you're like in a management or any type of position where you have to look at a person's worth in a certain project or in a certain field of knowledge, this is a good way just to kind of give them. You don't have to grade it by points. You could even just do it by satisfactory, excellent, unsatisfactory, things like that, just so they know how you are reviewing them and how they should, or and what they need to know to be excellent in that regard. Um, so that is for facilitator. And lastly, we have analyst. And this, I chose Socrative for a website called Socrative. And Socrative allows essentially for a nice, friendly, competitive quizzing type software. And it allows you to, like I said, make a quiz or any type of well, essentially a quiz in different forms. You can do multiple choice, you can do true or false, you can do all kinds of different applications with it, and it's definitely a fun time for some students to play with. And obviously for first strength is the friendly competition. A lot of people like to compete with each other, and it can be a fun time. Sometimes some people like to be winners, and this definitely allows them to do that. Easy access to results. You can get an app for your phone for this that allows you to see the results as it's playing out. So as you give it to a class of students, you can give this to the students. I'm sorry. As you give it to the students, it'll show on your phone, and you can see the results. And it's so that's definitely a strength. That's just easy access and some quality of life type stuff. And then the last one is it's just a great way to analyze because you can see from individual users what their answers were, and you can see what they got right, what they got wrong. Even if you have some type of option in there as to if they just never even answered or what have you. So it's just a great analytical tool to kind of look at your class and see how they're performing individually. Weaknesses is that one is, again, there's a paywall for certain features. That's just always, in my opinion, a con. But the biggest one, I think, is that you have to be careful with this in which classes you use this, because for simply just slower students that don't really think as fast as others, they might not be stupid or not intelligent, but they just simply might be once again just a slower thought process, and that's fine. But they might be a little bit discouraged with this type of stuff because the scoring is kind of, well, it's scored based on how fast you answer and how if you correctly answer. So they might get the correct answers, but they won't, if they're not fast, then they won't be able to get the highest score, and that might be a little bit discouraging. So I definitely would advise caution with this. Um, and the very last thing is I what I would use this for is most certainly an entertaining review. If maybe say before a test, I would pop this up, put some questions that would be like what would be on the test. Make a little bit of fun, like I said, a fun review. Second thing is positive reinforcement for perhaps if they've been doing good. I could even put something that is, of course, educational, or I could put something that isn't, something that might just be like a little bit of a trivia. If we have like a day where we have some free time, and like I said, they've been doing good, you can definitely use this as a bit of a fun little tool. And then lastly, um, if using this in the field, I can't see myself using it, but something that I think that could possibly be used, this could be used for, is simply using it to assess a group and their knowledge of a subject. Obviously, it wouldn't be as like on the screen, Mario, um, but more, more intelligent and difficult questions and things just to test some people's knowledge if you ever are in that role in a job. But yeah, these are my ISTE standards for all my projects and how they all kind of fit and how I've learned throughout the semester. And I've definitely learned from a lot of these projects. There's a lot of things I didn't know. I thought I was tech savvy, and it turns out that I wasn't as much as I thought so. And this course definitely showed me a lot of things and how to adapt all these topics and tools and projects into real life and how to use those. So I've absolutely enjoyed every bit of it. So thank you very much for listening.